Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So for the past year or so, I've become more interested in Twitter. I've been using Twitter pretty much every day, not always posting regularly, but following a lot of people on there who present good nutrition information, following a lot of vegan medical doctors, and I've discovered the scene of nutrition Twitter. So I don't follow all these guys. One guy's post who comes up quite often is this Kevin Bass. He's well known on there as far as I could tell. I didn't get a PhD. And for the most part, I appreciate Kevin's posts that I see getting retweeted where he uses, fact-based, evidence-based information, which we're all about here on Happy Healthy Vegan, going after, calling out these self-proclaimed health nutrition gurus, most of which have absolutely no nutrition training whatsoever, not medical doctors. Like, say here, David Asprey, the guy who says to put butter in your coffee, calling that guy out, calling out people like Dr. Mark Hyman, who is fearful of all carbohydrates, and same with like Nina Teicholz. She seems to be in the pockets of the meat and dairy industry and doesn't disclose it, while at the same time bashing plant-based diets. So good job to Kevin Bass and all others on this fact-based nutrition Twitter scene that I'm following for doing what you do. We really need people out there sorting out all this just rampant misinformation about nutrition and health that's not based in objective reality, and presenting the actual truth and calling out these charlatans. So I appreciate that. But the real reason why I'm making this video is because of comments that Kevin has made about vegans. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. Let's take a look at this post that really got me infuriated. Kevin recently said, 5 years ago, I was told I would destroy my career by aggressively attacking nutrition quacks on social media. Sounds good so far. Today, there's a whole community of us. We our own camp. We crush keto, vegans, biohackers, functional medicine, etc. So really, Kevin, you feel it's perfectly 100% appropriate to mention in the same breath of calling out quacks, vegans, along with biohackers, keto, and functional medicine. And I replied back, like, what are you talking about here? What about the vegan diet is quackery? It's actually been recommended by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics after a review of all the relevant research. Over 120 papers are cited in the reference section saying vegan diets, appropriately planned ones, are nutritionally adequate and healthful for all stages of life. What is unscientific and quackery about that, Kevin? Unfortunately, Kevin didn't find it was worth his while to respond to my claim of throwing vegans under the bus here with all these other well-known anti-science quackery-filled movements here, diet movements. And veganism isn't a diet. I'll get to that in a moment. And I challenged him, hey, if you want to talk about this in real time, let's have a discussion. Let's have a debate, discussion, whatever you want to call it, on one of my live streams. Crickets still from him. One of his followers got back to me to try to clarify as best as he could Kevin's position. And he said, I believe he means vegan nutrition people who overstate the benefits of veganism on health, not so much to the ethics, environmental aspects of veganism. Well, still, he could be much more clear about that than just saying vegans. Why don't you say like non-scientific vegans instead of just vegans? So at this point, I'm thinking it's quite possible that Kevin read my post, maybe sunk in a little bit. He just didn't take the time to reply. Busy guy, PhD student, all this stuff. Well, apparently not, because just a few days later, he made this post. There is a new diet camp, has many young people, does not care about ideology, but only evidence. Like, yeah, sounds good so far. What is this? It is just as fierce as vegans or low carbers. It's called science. Like, oh no, not this again. First of all, let me tell you, there's nothing inherently anti-science about veganism, as opposed to those other fatty things you mentioned there, like low carb. Yeah, they have to deny certain scientific principles, like, say, the harmful effects of saturated fatty acids, high LDL cholesterol, and I see him calling these people out for giving potential harmful information about these low-carb diet bits of misinformation. But veganism, there's absolutely nothing inherently unscientific about veganism. There's nothing about veganism that makes a person become anti-science, and you should know this. Like, on these people that retweet your tweets, you know them. You're friends with people like Dr. Daniela Bellardo, Dr. Garth Davis. Are you saying that we're anti-science? And I left a comment in your post here saying what I just said, that there's nothing anti-science about veganism. And again, crickets. However, I did get a reply from Dr. Bellardo trying to explain or justify what Kevin was saying here. And she said, sadly, there are just as many anti-science vegans as they are anti-science keto advocates. They share a common bond of anti-vax, anti-guidelines, anti-statin, anti-olive oil craziness. Hey, Dr. Bellardo, thanks for taking the time to comment here and try to explain to me what's going on in the mind of Kevin. And by the way, Dr. Bellardo, I mentioned you on a recent video of mine because I had a blood test done a few weeks ago. My LDL was a little over 100, as it was the last time I got it done about a year and a half ago. So being 53 years old, I thought it'd be prudent time to come visit a professional cardiologist like yourself. So hoping you have some appointments available for me sometime later this month. But back to Dr. Bellardo's reply to me here. I think this is why Kevin is making these posts. People like her and Kevin are getting comments from vocal, very loudmouth, anti-science vegans. And this is the sample set that like Dr. Bellardo and Kevin are seeing. Like, oh, all these vegans are so anti-science. I'm going to categorize vegans as anti-scientific. And nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, I have a different sample set. I have a huge social network of vegans. And the vast majority of the ones I know are not anti-science. And to make these bold generalizations that the majority of vegans are anti-science, please show us some data on that. Really, I mean, if you're going to make a claim like that, that's something that should be known through objective means. Like, show us anything that suggests that other than your own personal case study of your social media comments. I mean, yes, I get it. I get anti-science comments from vegans too, particularly the raw fruitarian crowd. And I showed Dr. Bellardo about this. She posted one like, hey, look at how crazy this vegan is. Like, that person's raw. This person's afraid to eat steamed broccoli because he thinks it's going to cause disease. So yeah, there's a subset of vegans who are very non-science oriented. In fact, they're afraid of science. They're afraid of what medicine has to say because objective reality is not in accordance with the beliefs that them and their gurus espouse. So yes, that is a problem, but please, there's no justification to just paint veganism in general with this broad stroke as being anti-scientific. Like I said earlier, there's the position paper by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and they say very clearly there are some health benefits to being vegan, such as lower chances of dying from one of the leading causes of death, healthy body weight. These are very safe general claims. And yeah, I'm aware there are some vegans, particularly the raw fruitarian ones, who go way beyond that. Say if you're raw vegan, you can never get a disease, you can't get infected with anything. Just these claims that have absolutely no basis in reality, in the sense there's no scientific studies to support these bold claims. And I get there's people like that out there. I understand that. But once again, there's no justification, there's no data to paint veganism with this broad brush of being anti-science in nature. And let me end with something maybe I should have started with, that unlike keto and low carb and putting butter in your coffee and all this other nonsense, veganism is not some kind of diet. It's a moral, ethical stance against the cruelty and exploitation to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose. It says nowhere in this pretty well accepted definition of veganism that it will give you awesome health, it'll make you live forever. It doesn't make any anti-scientific claims whatsoever. It's a moral, ethical movement at its core. So I hope somehow this video makes its way over to Kevin. I would like to hear your response to this. I'm sure you're going to say, yeah, I get all these crazy vegans on my social media, and I'm sure you do. But again, that's not necessarily representative of veganism in general. I get crazy, non-scientific, very hateful, racial, homophobic, sexist, ageist comments from meat eaters all the time. Do you see me generalizing, hey, you meat eaters are homophobic, racist, ageist, sexist, etc.? No, I just know these are a few loudmouth idiots and nothing more. So Kevin, I extend the invitation that I offered you initially on Twitter to discuss or debate this, however you want to describe it. Do it on a live stream of mine. I'm sure our viewers would enjoy this discussion. I'm sure you have some more subtlety that you would love to express because you remained completely silent on Twitter. So if you'd like to remain more anonymous, not show your face, we could discuss this more on Twitter, which is more your home court there, which I'm more than happy to. At the very least, I would just prefer not to see you categorizing, lumping in vegans with all these other dietary movements, but veganism is not, dietary movements that are inherently at their essence anti-science, which veganism is absolutely not. So please just knock that off, if at the very least, if you don't want to even reply to me whatsoever. But I would love to hear what you have to say about this. You know, it's a little difficult for me to know what's inside your mind. I just heard, you know, what a few other people said in defense of you. So if you would like to speak for yourself, please comment down below or reach out to me. I'm not a mean or evil person. I'm like you. I'm all about fact-based information and exposing misinformation, and for me, particularly misinformation about veganism. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Hit the like button. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think about lumping vegans in with carnivores and low carbers and functional medicine and all that. So let me know your thoughts. And until next time, guys, remember, let's keep it vegan.
When does the pain